sightseeing. Maybe swim in a lake. What'd I do?
Hey, it's Chris. I'll be talking about the attractions at EUR. One of the 3 attractions that I will be talking about is Central Lake Park, also known as Parco Centrale del Lago. It is very well known here, and it adds a greenery to the area where Mussolini originally made intentions to make EUR white, green, and blue due to their contrast and how distinct that he wanted to make marble appear. So one of the creations that were planned to be made was Central Lake Park. It is home to a large amount of fish and flowers in this area. The community uses this area as a communal place to spend time. Even normal day civilians that live around EUR or just in general around the district come there just to eat, whether it's eating at McDonald's or biking or do family activities. This place also hosts a large amount of markets that could be seen later on in this video. One of the second places you'll see that we visit and really took time to admire for a bit would be the Rome's Waterfall Garden. It is located along the banks of the city's southwest suburb, EUR. It was designed by architect Rafael Bibico. It was opened around 1961, but unfortunately closed for some time and just recently reopened in May 2017. Now people could walk around the garden area, the waterfalls, from 7 to 20. So if you're going there, don't go in for a dive because it seems kind of painful. One of the last places that I will be talking about is the EUR Convention Center, which is known to hold a lot of seats or a lot of people really. The EUR Convention Center takes up approximately 55,000 square meters and the new public by an Italian architect. The new Congress Center, spacious, it holds about 8,000 seat convention center designed by Mussolini Fussas with 30 meeting rooms. So this place is really practical for business negotiations and in general hosting a lot of events. The cost of creating this structure was about €239 million, and it was just recently finished around October 2016.
Hi, I'm Pierce, and I'll be talking about the pop culture taken in EUR. First, there's Michelangelo Antonioni's 1962 film L'Eclisse, which starts in the EUR residential area and then makes its way over to the water tower and shows the Palazzo della Sport and the Legato, which is the lake in the middle of EUR. Another movie is the 1970 film The Conformist by Bernardo Bertolucci. A major scene in which the main character talks to his sick father is taking place inside the Palazzo dei Congressi. The only time it was really used was for training fencers for the Olympics. In the program, it talks about the use of white marble in EUR as a symbol of oppression by the fascist regime at the time of its construction.
EUR offers a large-scale image of how urban Italy might have looked if the fascist regime had not fallen. Wide-planned streets and austere buildings of either stile Littorio, inspired by ancient Roman architecture, or rationalism, modern architecture, but built using traditional limestone, tuff, and marble. The architecture is clearly different from the rest of Rome and its neighborhoods, representing the future rather than the past. Mussolini wanted to create a new Italian empire based on modern times with a new idea of modern art based on fascism. The EUR district itself was developed to be a world expo where Mussolini could show off what he thought were the glories of fascism. All the designs were created in accordance to the Italian movement of rationalist architecture, which imposes power and absolution through grand designs and large-scale buildings. Something that you can see in EUR that many Roman neighborhoods don't have is green space. EUR offers an open layout with wide streets and many green areas. Due to the outbreak of the Second World War, the development of EUR was halted, but it was picked up in 1955 with the ideas of how to integrate the neighborhood back into the central Rome, along with constructing new buildings for the 1960 Olympics.
Hi, my name is Will, and I'm going to be talking about the history behind Exposition Universal Rome, also known as EUR. So this particular part of the city was developed by Mussolini, who was a fascist, and he believed that this city would be big to the coast, which is 370 miles from here. The city was conquering new land and ever expanding. This was an example of the exposition event, and many countries invested for this event. It was a big deal, but now this area is a pedestrian park and work area. There would be fountains everywhere, although some may not work. You would spend your weekends with this atmosphere, just like Disneyland, to celebrate what is the new Italy. So basically, Mussolini created this district of Rome to show the inevitable prosperity of fascism, and that's the reason why the buildings are white in contrast to the green foliage and parks, as well as a man-made lake, because it provides an image that would convince other countries that fascism was a good idea and hence they should participate. And there you could also find lots of Roman artwork and Roman history, as well as it is well preserved in the area.
Hi, I'm Claire, and I'll be talking about the civilian lifestyle in EUR. So there are about 9,400 people that live in the district. Most of the population is made up of women, with 55% being women and 44% men. So Rome is known to be the city of markets, and the EUR district has a very interesting market. It is called the Palombini Market. It's in front of the bar that has the same name, Cafe Palombini. You can find this market every weekend in EUR. You can buy lots of ancient objects for very cheap prices, different from what you can find in more famous markets such as the one in Trastevere. You can also find some homemade objects and food such as mozzarella cheese from Bari and other Italian typical foods. You can buy olives and torelli on the Puglia stands, or taste the strudel and the cornmeal mush from Trentino. Now for the younger people, if you're interested in the nightlife in EUR, the majority of the discotheques of Rome are in the south, in the numerous buildings and panoramic terraces. You can find lots of young people here, and the nightlife here is very nice. The Terrazzi of Palazzo dei Congressi becomes a dance hall during the night, decorated by laser lights and vintage music on some days of the week. During the summer, a lot of projections take place at the open air, offering a fantastic show surrounded by the monumental buildings, watching the most famous films.